Well, for more, we're joined in studio by Sinijlawi, Fatah activist from Jerusalem and chairman of the Jerusalem Development Fund. Samir, thanks for joining us. Well, first of all, let's get your reaction to the announcement today that the U.S. is reopening its consulate in Arab East Jerusalem to deal directly with the Palestinians. That's a reversal of the Trump administration's policies. How significant do the Palestinians or the Palestinian Authority see this move?
Well, I think this move is very important to restore confidence in the Americans as a broker in the negotiations when it is resumed. So I think this is a step that everybody is expecting. I guess it's taking a lot of time because maybe it's something that the Israelis need to re-give the status of the certain diplomatic status for this building. But I think it's a right step in the right direction. I can see that also there is a new language now identifying the Israeli-Palestinian conflict in the Washington, D.C., and it's clear from the statements of the Secretary Blinken and even President Biden. It's shifting more and more from dealing with this conflict on a political level, and it's going to the direction of dealing dealing with this conflict on a human rights level, on equal rights level. We have noticed the statements of President Biden, where he said, for the first time, an American president says, we are calling for an equal rights for freedom, for prosperity, for democracy, for Israelis and Palestinians. This is a very, very new language, putting the Palestinians and Israeli on the same level and linking them with equal rights. And again, there was another statement that sounded very, very important for me from President Biden when he said that the Democratic Party is still supporting Israel. Still, when you say still, you are expecting that this might end somewhere. So in his unconscious, maybe
I think he's trying to refute some of the concerns that might be for example, in the American Jewish community or in Israel about some of the more progressive elements of the party.
Well, I can say one of the results of the Netanyahu policy or relation with the Americans, allying himself to Trump very clearly, is that Israel is no more a bipartisan issue in Washington, D.C. There is a split. And you can see that the progressive power inside the Democratic Party are pushing more and more.
Right. Well, that's true. It looks like President Biden's trying to reverse that, but that's a big issue. Let's leave that to the side. Let's look at today's developments because, again, a big step, the reopening of the planned reopening of the U.S. consulate in Arab East Jerusalem. We know that aid, also an announcement of aid, $75 million in aid, some to Gaza, some more general to the Palestinians. But the Biden administration is not reversing the Trump administration, the decision to relocate the U.S. embassy to Israel in Jerusalem. Now, President Abbas had said that to reversing that decision, previously it said in the Trump administration that was a precondition to, for example, resuming peace negotiations and full-on contacts. Is that now policy shifted? Is the PA ready, you believe, ready to resume full contact with the administration and maybe even peace negotiations with that U.S. embassy in Jerusalem?
Well, I think the Palestinian. I don't speak for them, but I think the Palestinian Authority has no other option than to resume relation with the Americans, especially with all these positive signals coming from the new administration, resuming the aid. This very important visit, the calls that Abbas has received from Biden. So this kind of engagement again from the administration with both sides equally is encouraging everybody to open the doors for any new proposal. And now the ball is in the court of the American administration because everybody is trying to discover what's their plans. Up till now they say, okay, we will focus into prosperity, into freedoms, into security for all. There is no any kind of intention to go and put full muscles behind a direct negotiation that will lead for some kind of a development. So we need towards
peace process or peace negotiations. And it looks like the Biden administration is still trying to take that slow, even though maybe there was a bit of a shift today from Secretary Blinken saying American engagement matters.
Of course, America is taking their leadership again in the Middle East, and I think they will succeed. I trust this administration. It has enough wisdom. It has been very balanced with everybody, and I think they can push again things to develop in the right direction.
Well, let's talk about the Gaza issue, because the Biden administration says it wants to see funding go in, but Hamas, that money should not be handled by Hamas. Is there realistic, from the Palestinian perspective, any alternative to Hamas being in some way in charge of that reconstruction effort in Gaza?
Well, I think we need to go for a unity government. The Palestinians need to find a way to form a unity government with two tasks only.
That's been 15 years, a 15-year effort, without any success in that.
Well, we need to push for it. This is the only way that we can do a proper reconstruction in Gaza, and we can push again the elections, because the elections should be on the agenda still. It should not be forgotten that the Palestinians are looking, most of the Palestinians are looking for elections to happen. And I think the current leadership has lost credibility totally.
Do you agree with the assessment that Hamas has gained credibility or on what we might call the Palestinian street, including, for example, in the West Bank?
Of course, because the people are very emotional. They have seen some kind of fictitious balance between both sides. Hamas is launching rockets. There was suddenly the Palestinian issue became on top of the priority for everybody. Hamas gained popularity, this is definite. But I think this could be temporary, because people will now look again to see some strategic development. They need some development in the political situation, in their own lives, in their level of life. So, and this is a challenge that Hamas has failed deeply in Gaza. Hamas couldn't get the Gazans out of the terrible situation they are living in.
All right, Samir Sinijlawi, thank you for joining us on i24 News.
Thank you.